Hello and welcome. Today I am on round 6 of the Aerial Racing League. This is Southwick. Now I am on the KTM 250. I've been riding a lot of the 450s in the past few videos, so I figured I'd switch it up again and go to a 250. And I also figured the KTM because I don't think I've done a video on the KTM 250. Unless maybe I did like the KTM test track on a KTM. But either way, it's a bike that I don't use very often, so figured I would give that a go. But yeah, if you watched my last video on Redbud, one thing I said was I had no idea how they were going to make this track work, given that the tires did not work on sand, the new tires at least. But all that has been answered with the new V2 tire patch. I will get into that in a second, but it basically answers my question. So yeah, we have a new tire patch, so now the tires work on all of the soil types. I haven't gone around and like tested every single soil type or whatnot, so I don't necessarily know exactly how the tires perform on every single surface, but so far I do like this tire patch just for the fact that now we can ride every track again. Tracks like Lommel, OSS, tracks like that. So yeah, very, very stoked, which I did do quite a bit of riding on Lommel and OSS just for a little bit of sand practice before this track came out. So yeah, hopefully I'm gonna ride kind of all right. But yeah, anyway, the tire patch, when it first dropped, I downloaded it, and I'll be honest, didn't know if I was quite a fan at first because the traction seemed a little strange. Like, it seemed like there was way too much traction. And yeah, I didn't know if I was a fan at first, but then after spending a few laps kind of getting used to it and also messing around with the tire pressure and whatnot, I feel like I kind of got it to a spot where I felt like it feels comfortable, I guess. Like now it kind of feels like how I'd expect it to handle. So yeah, definitely a fan of it. Obviously it's still not perfect. There's still like a couple things that I think are just a tad strange, but it's kind of at the point now where I can't tell if that's because of the tire traction or just the physics of the game, like the bounciness or whatnot. Yeah, I can't really tell. So either way, I am glad that this tire patch is here, just for the fact that yeah, all tracks are rideable now, without having to worry about switching between the stock Pubosa tires and the new tires and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely I would recommend, if you feel a little weird on the new tire patch, I would say just do a little bit of testing, mess with some tire pressure on front and rear or whatnot, and kind of just however you kind of want it to handle. I think you can pretty much tweak it to the way you want with the tire pressure. At least that's the case for me so far. I haven't tested out every tire pressure on every like soil type or anything like that, but either way I got it to a point that I feel comfortable now. But yeah, going to this track, again, very excited for this track. And one of the reasons why I chose to go with the 250, other than switching it up, is I know that the friction has been increased on the sand, so it kind of really kind of bogs you down a lot more. So instead of going with a 450 with more power, probably significantly faster honestly on sand, I figured why not do a 250, so that way we have to keep our momentum up in order to get some decent laps in. So I figured it'd be a kind of a fun little challenge. I also did ride a decent bit of Lommel and OSS and what's the other one? Lyra, I believe. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but yeah, just those sand tracks. I rode a bunch of those to kind of get used to the sand. So hopefully I can ride somewhat decent. And then I say this, oh man, we got a weird kick there. But I say this in all my videos, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt because I might be biased, but all these tracks are really good in my opinion. Obviously they're not going to be perfect. There's probably going to be some inconsistencies between real life and these replicas, but overall, like, these are just really good tracks. I know people, and especially recently, I feel like I've been seeing people complain about the paid content and how it's ruining MX bikes and all this stuff. And I definitely don't think it's ruining MX bikes, but I can kind of see their point of view. If just everyone and their mother starts charging for their content, I could definitely see how that would ruin MX bikes. But when it comes to tracks like these that are just, you know, on another level of detail, like all the pro rounds, the Huron compound, for example, like these tracks that people put a lot of time and effort into, I 100% support funding the creators, because if I were making content for this game and I was putting, let's say I put 1,000 hours worth of time into making a track, or multiple tracks or whatnot, and I don't really get what's the right word? Sorry, I kind of had a brain fart there, but yeah, if I don't get you know, compensated for my time, then it's just really hard to stay motivated to put in the amount of time I'm putting into making content, if that makes sense. So I do, yeah, fully support compensating creators for the amount of time that they put into their work, especially when it's the level of quality that the Huron compound or these tracks are. So anyway, enough of that though. Let's go into this track though. Again, huge fan, and the thing I like about these sand tracks is just how different they are from other tracks. You know, you're not gonna be hitting massive jumps. Like this jump right here is, besides maybe the finish line jump, is like the biggest jump on the entire track. Most of the skill level, I guess, comes from like doubling and tripling your way through like the rollers and the braking bumps, and just you're like constantly trying to find like a rhythm. Like here, for example, just like doubling your way through these like rollers and stuff like that. That's really where the main enjoyment comes from these tracks, which I really enjoy. So yeah, I definitely am partial to these types of tracks, even though, you know, some people might not enjoy them just because you're not going to be throwing massive scrubs or whips or anything. You're literally just trying to keep your momentum up, go as fast as possible, and find tiny little rhythms throughout the corners and the straights and whatnot. So yeah, huge fan of that style of track. Excuse me. I want to get a decent lap in, but this is just one of those tracks where it's so easy to gain or lose time that it's kind of hard to kind of just sit there and hot lap. That was not a great start to it, but yeah, right now I'm at a 217, which is not that great. I know I can run a 210. I haven't, but that was my ideal lap time in testing. The fastest lap that I actually rode was, I believe, a mid 211. So yeah, not too far off from a 210. So I know I could do it. I just need to stop making these like little mistakes here and there. This is one of those tracks where you can definitely get away with probably not sitting down the entire lap. It's just so rough, and with the new tire physics, that's the one thing that I've noticed is you can get away with standing up a lot more while turning, whereas before I feel like if you were trying to make sharp turns while standing, you would either like lose the front or rear pretty easily depending on how you were leaning. Whereas with this, like, I mean, besides a couple spots, like I've been standing this entire time, as you can see on the bottom right hand corner. You know what, actually next lap I'm just gonna do a lap and I'm gonna try to not sit down the entire lap, because to be honest, it's totally feasible. It's not like you're gonna lose time. You might even honestly gain time, because I feel like when you sit down, I sat down right there, but when you sit down in kind of this rough stuff, like it just, you know, MX bikes physics with the low speed, and then also sitting down, it just gets really bouncy and kind of hard to predict what's going to happen. So yeah, we'll finish out this lap and then I'll try to do a full lap without sitting down. Hopefully I remember, but it's pretty instinctual sometimes to sit down. But even when I do sit down on this track, it's very briefly. It's for like maybe half a second or a second or something, like just very briefly. But yeah, we'll try to do this lap standing up, and we'll try to get a fast lap in. Kind of messed up the corner there, but that's all right. I also don't really know the fast way through here. I don't know if taking the inside and going around the inside, going around that little hump is faster, or trying to carry speed through that's faster. But we're off to a decent start here, so we'll try to keep this going. I might not talk a whole lot because I do want to put in a fast lap. I do like sending it off of that though, and I totally just realized I sat down, but that was pretty brief. Alright, I'm not gonna sit down there. See, like I like to sit down in this corner, but that's like one of the main corners that I really actually sit down. That was kind of cool, like wheelie off the top there. And it was kind of sloppy there, hit through that corner, but that's all right. We'll tear off real quick, getting pretty dirty. That was a pretty slow corner as well, but whatever. I'm gonna shift up into fifth and just pulled it wide open. Try to carry as much speed as possible through that corner. Alright, hopefully we don't mess this up. Alright, so 212. Not the best lap. Like I said, I've done a 211. So, maybe not the best lap, but yeah, that was a full lap, except for that one small part of me standing up the entire way. Like, it's totally feasible to just stand up the entire time, but I'm gonna try to go for maybe another fast lap. But yeah, I'm gonna sit down where I want to. Like I said, there's only a few spots really where I like sitting down. Started to get a little sketch there. I like going on that outside of that corner just because yeah, it's fun to kind of like, oh man, that corner right there is it, like the way it ends, it like is almost like acute, I guess, and so it's really easy to just like go off the track there. I don't know, it's way sharper than you would expect at the very end, but oh well. So that kind of ruins our chances for a good lap there. But I'm gonna finish off this lap to end the video, so that way it's not too long. But yeah, I do highly recommend this track, and I am glad that sand tracks are finally back to being playable. I mean, obviously they were before with the stock tires, but you know, definitely, like I said, even though I still think the stock tires are fairly decent on the sand, you're definitely probably going to lose a lot of time with stock tires just because they have significantly less grip. But alright. The other thing I've noticed too, as we finish out this lap is, whoa, that we got kicked there. It honestly feels like the faster you go in sand, the more realistic it feels. I don't know how to explain that, but basically, like, when you're really just hauling it on the edge, like, it kind of feels like the tires perform better, like more like I would expect in sand, which is kind of interesting. But either way, I appreciate you checking out the video. Again, I'm excited for Millville. That's probably one of the tracks I'm more excited for, just because of playing the other iterations of Millville in this game. I believe AGMX made 2 years of Millville, and those were really fun tracks. So yeah, pretty excited to see how that one comes out. But either way, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, a thumbs up would be awesome, and until the next one.